Welcome back, everybody, to episode 42 of the Liechtenstein Challenge here with Vaduz. And as you can see via the schedule, we are unfortunately not in Europe in season 10. This is a really big disappointment for me, as it will be for yourselves. I'll go through the European games that we played. Really annoying as well. I was hoping we would have a bit of a better run in Europe than last year, but it's even worse than last year. So it's going to be a bit of a roll on season 10 and let's get straight into season 11 sort of thing with Vaduz this season. I'll then show you the league schedule and then I'll show you the transfers we made. We haven't made many transfers this season. We promoted quite a few players from the reserves and the youth teams. And then we'll get straight into this Winterthur match. So in regards to Europe, we ended up playing a team from Belarus called BGU Minsk. We beat these over 2 legs. First of all, getting 2 goals from Magnus Gilholm, thanks to a pen and a goal just before half time. They scored in the 70th minute. We then took this back to Vaduz where we won 2-0, thanks to goals from Gilholm and Maximano, winning 4-1 on aggregate. That was then followed up by a visit from our neighbours Servette, who qualified for the Conference League via, I believe it was probably the league phase last year, or it'll be the Cup. I'm not sure which one it'll be. But we entertained them at home first, and it was a goal from Dick Oydendenk, who secured the 1-0 victory in Liechtenstein. We then took an away trip to Servette, where we beat them 1-0 thanks to a goal from Maximiano, and we secured a 2-0 aggregate victory, much deserved. We then got a tie against NK Celje of Slovenia. We won the first leg 1-0 thanks to a goal from Oydendenk, who has been doing really decent in the games that he has been playing. However, we took a trip to Slovenia, and I'm going to show you one of the goals. It was not good. So they scored in the 10th minute from a corner outside the box. Not even going to pronounce that man's name, but we then equalised. Claudio plays a ball to Engler, Accurate plays it in, and Oydendenk gets the equaliser. But unfortunately, just before half time, they got a goal thanks to a really bad mistake from our defence, as you can see, and Peffler gets the goal there. And then in the second half, I do not understand what Engler was doing here, and Serban, to be fair, but Voyadeb gets a goal, and that secures a 3-1 victory, 3-2 on aggregate. And as you can tell, my face was not particularly happy after that result. So yeah, we are not in Europe. This is the first season for a number of years we've missed out on the league phase. However, though, things are looking better in the league. And that's because since the Young Boys game at the start of the season, we have not lost a match in the Super League. So the first game was a really bad result, 4-1 victory for Young Boys away from home. Junior League, De Santos and Amiri getting goals for Young Boys, and Simon Beale, our young striker slash winger, getting a goal for us in the 63rd minute. Then a home tie against Thun. We thoroughly deserved the draw here. They got 1 shot on target thanks to Mauricio Williman. But Johnson secured a well-deserved draw for us. And then we had a really good August. So we got a draw against Luzern thanks to Oydendenk. Kakoli scoring for them. Then we beat Stade Lausanne Ushi 3-0 at home thanks to goals from Gilholm, Oydendenk and Maximiano. Then one of our bogey teams, just like Luzern, Zurich, we stuffed them 4-1, and this was a very satisfying result. As you know, I've got a bit of a history against Zurich, not doing very well, but Maximiano, 2 goals from him, Akirek, our Turkish winger, and Teitman, who is one of our players that we promoted from the youth team, Jenny getting a goal, which was a consolation for them. Then St. Gallen at home, Teitman again getting a 1-0 victory against St. Gallen. And then we got another game, so I believe we played Servette 3 times already this season. 2-1 victory, goals from Maximiano and our Polish defender Kaminski. Tubin getting a consolation goal in the 90th minute. And unfortunately, we deserved to win this game, but Lugano got an equaliser in the last minute thanks to Fagir. Kaminski getting the goal in the 27th minute. And in terms of the Super League, that's put us in third place on 15 points. Like I say, if we win our game today, other teams have games in hand, but we will go top of the league. In regards to transfers, there hasn't been many major incomings. It's primarily been youngsters that we've signed. As you can see, it's not been a very busy window for us, but we have had some major departures in terms of significant players that you've probably seen throughout the series so far. So let me start with Rodrigo Rego. Unfortunately, has left us, but there is a reason behind it. He was 30 years old. His contract was almost up, and the team Vojvodina from Serbia came in and offered us 250 grand. I don't think it was a bad offer. He's been a bit of a club legend for us, and I think he deserves this chance in Serbia. Yeah, we will wish him nothing but the best, but I felt like it was time for us to move on from Rego. Maybe though, I probably should have kept him for the European fixtures just with what has happened, but never mind. But we wish him nothing but the best. Then another legend of Vaduz played 134 games for us. Fabio Luque Nataro has left for Aru, basically on a free transfer. He was a significant player for us down the years. I really enjoyed using him. Like I say, in real life, a prospect for Liechtenstein, but for us, he was a bit hit and miss with us. He had a couple of good seasons, but just didn't hit the heights that I wanted. And he's played a lot of times for Liechtenstein, and I thought with the amount of good quality wingers we've got in the team, we needed to move him on. We also loaned Enema out to a Cameroonian team, so obviously that Liechtenstein nationality will reset from 203 days, but I'm not too bothered about that. He just needed a loan time basically since we brought him in last season for 22 grand. Another player that has also gone out on loan, which I'm kind of glad, is Koulibaly. Like, I tried to sell him in the summer window. There was an offer from a Saudi team straight up about 22 million. I was stupid enough to not accept that and basically ask for a friendly and some percentages, and they just rejected it. And looking back on it now, I should have just accepted it because we need to make a profit on Koulibaly. Signed him for 13.5 million. Barely played for us last season, and with the wages that he's on, 16 grand a week, I can't afford that to continue. So we need to sell him this year. I can't afford him to go out on a free as well, unless next season we can get him on loan like Salernitana have offered him basically, and they are paying all of his wages. There's no loan fee, but the fact that he's paying full wages, and as you can see, he's 8.9% of the club's total wage bill, so we need to get rid of him. I wanted this signing to be a success, but it hasn't happened, unfortunately. And then another loan was Özdemir, who we signed from Cottbus last season. I was holding off about loaning him out, but I just felt like he needed the loan experience, so that is going to reset back to 1,825 days. I'm not totally bothered about that, and I think this guy potentially could end up in the first team next year, so we'll see how he goes, but he's developing really nicely. I just feel like he needed the loan deal just with the amount of players that were promoted this season. He needed that. I'm trying my best not to loan players out under the age of 19 to clubs that are foreign and not Liechtenstein clubs. Obviously, with the whole Liechtenstein nationality, if they're not here accumulatively for 1,825 days, they don't get Liechtenstein nationality. So there'll be a bit of a delay on Özdemir's nationality if he gets Liechtenstein nationality and if he doesn't get called up by Germany or Turkey. I've also sort of given up on Victor Muschel. So he signed a new deal last year. He had a little bit of a good spell and then just annoyed me. So I've loaned him out in Anansi. And probably I'm going to sell him next season for that value that it's gone up for him. Just hasn't really developed, and he's completed 1,113 days. Obviously, that's been reset. But I don't rate him. I don't fancy him anymore. And at 22 years old, I thought he was going to be a really good player that was going to develop. He's been around the reserve team for so long. It was time for him to move out and go out on loan. So maybe a loan deal next year, or maybe a permanent transfer, I think. And then Belinga's gone out on loan to Pescara, who is our Cameroonian forward, was signed from Ajaccio a couple of seasons ago. He's already got Cameroon nationality, so I just thought it made sense for us to loan him out, and he had a really good season at ZTE in Hungary, one of our affiliate clubs, so it needed to happen really. And maybe next season we might get him out on loan, or maybe next season he might end up in the first team. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on him this season. Maybe you'll see him next year, maybe you won't. So in terms of incomings, it's mainly just youngsters. None of these guys are going into the first team. So the first one is Zakuini, a Democratic Republic of Congo, sort of DM slash centre back, but I'm probably going to look at maybe getting him as a DM. I'm hoping that we can get him as a Liechtenstein national, but I'm not holding that out for it. I mean, a lot of these signings are basically youngsters, bring them in, get them in for that 5 years, and then hopefully they can get Liechtenstein nationality. But at the end of the day now, it's 10 seasons, 11 seasons in, and we need to move away from that focus of trying to get players into the Liechtenstein national team and improving the club as a whole now. Then we signed Samuel Kamara, who I really like the look of. Plays across the front three in midfield. Have loaned him straight back to the club that we signed him from, which was Beleares, I think. 120k, but I do like the look of him. Physical's really good. A couple of mental attributes that look really good as well. And then we also signed a Ukrainian. I'm not going to even pronounce that last name. I'm going to go with Alexander. Decent left back. Probably one that is maybe a one where we keep him in this team for a couple of years, see how he progresses, maybe sell for a profit, I don't know. Then we also brought in Wallace, who is a right back, youngster, 18 years old, another unambitious personality. But yeah, one for the future, maybe. And then we also signed Salah, who I believe is also back on loan. A Gambian slash Spanish winger. We have a lot of wingers at the moment, but there's a reason why I signed him. Is because of his potential, and as you can see from his value, 3.8 to 6 million, he has a lot of potential. Then we signed Marcos Polo as well. I'm probably looking at maybe getting this guy. I don't know where he's going to play, but I instantly just like the look of him, and his value's gone up instantly. I did try to loan him to a couple of Liechtenstein clubs, but it didn't work, unfortunately. But it is what it is. And then finally, Makovec, who we signed from Slaven Belupo. Left back, another one, potential maybe. We'll see how he goes. But as you can see, we haven't spent a lot of money this summer. Also, finance-wise, we're in debt by 7 million. So we need to keep an eye on that. But we have about 6 million to still spend. I'll just go quickly through and just show you some things that have happened with the squad, and then we'll get straight into this Winterthur match. So this is the squad overview, and as you can see, there's a lot of players wanted. Yeah, we had a bit of an iffy summer in terms of players wanting to leave. The first one was obviously Sabotka. Leverkusen offered us a transfer fee. It wasn't accepted, and he's been unhappy ever since. And as a result, he has decided to vent his unhappiness, and as of that, he has become second choice keeper because Wesenlund has become first choice for the time being. He also was wanted, I believe, by Napoli, but the offer just was not good enough. Really annoying. And then also Adogu was wanted as well. There is a 2.2 valuation on him because we did sign him for about 650k. I'm not sure who wanted him, but yeah, he's probably going to be pushed down the pecking order a little bit. Quatra was wanted by Kiel a lot in the summer, and we decided not to sell him because He is very close to getting that Liechtenstein nationality. He's only 165 days away. But I realise he's also been on loan to a couple of clubs, so we need to bear that in mind. I might renew the contract. I'm not sure with Quatra. Um, but yeah, we've also promoted Engler, who I really liked last season in the reserves. Needs to get his dribbling up, and despite his mistake in Europe, he's been okay for us. He hasn't been particularly brilliant, but I wanted to get him into the first team because of his eligibility being really close. And to be honest, he looks like a really good fullback. And if we can get that dribbling improved, he's going to be a really good player for us. Kaminski was also wanted by a number of clubs, and I basically said no to them all. We're giving him the playing time that he deserves. Schubert was also wanted, but we haven't sold him as well because I believe he is also very close to getting that Liechtenstein nationality. Obviously, going to wait a little bit longer because he was loaned out to Cham in the early days. But I can see this guy getting Liechtenstein nationality, so we're going to keep him for the time being. Johnson was also wanted. No serious offers came in for him though, but he's been really good for us this year. I think it's Siddiqui's last season. He is wanted by Cercle Bruges and Krakow. However, the reason I've kept him around, he has Liechtenstein nationality. Unfortunately, no, it's got the awaiting paperwork on. So this happened with Goliard. I'm really hoping it doesn't happen with Siddiqui because he could be really useful for the Liechtenstein national team. Whether Liechtenstein take him or not is another question. But yeah, he's on 3.8k a week until 2033. We're not going to offer him a new contract, so we're going to keep him around at least till January. Maybe sell him and maybe replace him with somebody else as well. I believe Araj was wanted, but we also didn't decide to offer him out basically. We kept him because he's really close, and yeah, we'll see about Araj as well. Guarini was wanted by a couple of clubs, but I've decided to keep a hold of him on the fringe player sort of thing, and the fact as well, he's another one. It's always about the Liechtenstein national team with these guys. Lampert and Claudio have been wanted quite a lot this summer. No offers for them. Danny Spinnerath had a little bit of a complaint with me. I promoted him to Impact Sub, and he's been kept with the club for the time being. But as I say, there's a lot of players in his position, so his position is under threat if he doesn't stop performing. And as you can see, he hasn't been particularly brilliant. So yeah, he's got a lot of work to do to cement his place. Gilholm, who we had on loan last season, made it a permanent deal, and it has been a very good permanent deal. Signed for only 650k, scored 17 goals last season. Has been injured a lot this season, but as you can see, continental wise, 3 goals. His form in the league hasn't been particularly great, but I don't believe that's down to anything bad or anything like that. Unfortunately, he's injured at the moment, which is annoying. We also promoted Teichmann, who we signed a couple of seasons ago. I really like the look of this guy, developing really nicely, and yeah, really good. Akurek was wanted by a number of teams this season. I slapped 20 million on. Nobody wanted to sign him, but Bayern wanted to get him. A lot of German clubs want him, Cole and Hamburg, but he's valued at 10 to 15 million, so he's definitely worth it. I'm going to try my hardest to keep a hold of him since we signed him for 1.1 million. A really good player for us, developing really nicely. Maximano was also wanted. I think there was a bid that came in for him, but I have no desire whatsoever to sell my best striker at the moment. We also promoted the young Robin Dan, who is American, to the first team. His potential looks really good, and I can't really turn that down. Rego was one of the reasons why he's came into the first team. Simon Beale, not had the greatest of starts to the season, but is still in the first team. And Dick Oidendink, developing really nicely, and he's scored a lot of goals for us recently. Um, he doesn't want a new contract at the moment. However, with the teams that want him, I maybe want to try and get that contract, as he is very, very close to getting that Liechtenstein nationality. I'd like to keep him for maybe 1 or 2 more seasons and then move him on. But yeah, in terms of the development center, so the primary player out of this is probably Leon Abold. He's going to be challenging Teitman, I think, for that attacking midfielder, advanced playmaker role. With regards to everybody else, the only, I would say, couple of significant players in this would be Kuhn, who is our Liechtenstein right winger. You might see this guy next season because he is developing really nicely. Although I would like to loan him out, just to get that bit more of a development time. Forsten Muller as well. I think this guy is probably going to be better than Lampert. And yeah, you will probably see him in the first team next season if I can find a slot for him. If not, he's going out on loan, probably to a European club. But we'll see about that. Our Albanian centre back, Spahayu, or Matteo, I'm just going to call him, developing really nicely. You will see him in the first team if he doesn't get bought by anybody, because he is wanted by a number of clubs. But 6'6", developing really nicely. Might not get Liechtenstein nationality because he's Albanian, and I suspect Albania will probably pick him up. But that is not the end of the world at all. Budzik, who we signed from, it was one of the Polish teams, developing a little bit nicely. Barnacle as well, another player you might see in the first team, you may not. I think Barnacle might be a loan, but one for the future. I've mentioned him in the past. Marek, our young Croatian centre back. So we signed this guy a couple of seasons ago, and we've also got another Croatian left back who I showed you earlier, but developing really nicely and potentially a future left back. Pastor, probably our third choice goalkeeper at the moment. You will likely see this guy in the future because I've got a sneaky feeling we might have to sell one of the goalkeepers that we've got at the moment. Montag, I think, is probably going to get let go next season. He hasn't developed as much as I like. And Sarni is in the reserves, one who's played for Vaduz a number of seasons. The reason why is just his form has gone dramatically downhill. And also the reason why he's in the reserves and I've not sold him, Liechtenstein nationality. It's still there. I still want to get players in the team. So that's it for the squad overview. Let's get into this match against Winterthur, shall we? This is the team we're going to go for against Winterthur today. So it's Oidendijk up front, Ordnez, Spinrath on the right, Teitman, Lampert. We will change those roles in a minute. Schubert in DM, Araj, Kaminski, Johnson, and Quatra in defence. Wesenlund in goal. I'm just going to change Lampert to a Mazzona on attack because that is his favoured role at the moment. Sobotka on the bench because of his unhappiness. Siddiqui Weber, Christian Weber. So another long-standing player that we have, and he is also another one that is close to Liechtenstein nationality. Impact sub, hasn't developed very nicely, but yeah, one for the future. Probably not, but one for the Liechtenstein national team. Yeah. Garini, who is developing quite nicely, as I showed you earlier. Serban, who is our Romanian centre-back, who we signed a couple of seasons ago. We've started getting him into the first team. Claudio on the bench. Maxiamano, Akurek, and Simon Beale. Players missing out is Engler and Robin Dan, but I suspect you will probably see Robin Dan feature into the team a little bit more this season. I'm just wondering, 45 minutes, Simon Beale, stick Robin Dan on the bench for Simon Beale because Simon Beale is not fully fit. I'm going to get into my usual opposition instructions and we'll see you at the game. Here we go. So, with a win today against Winterthur, we will secure top place in the league. Winterthur have an old face in Fabrizio Kevgan up front. It's not a bad team, to be fair, for Winterthur. They are 7th in the league, so they can't be underestimated. But like I say, with a win, we will go top of the league. So it's very important we get a result here. But yeah, let's see how we get on. Winterthur to kick off. Just playing it around a little bit at the moment. We can't seem to get the ball off them at the moment, which is not good. Demeter. Good tackle from Quattro, though. Highlight for Winterthur, and they've scored from set piece. So I think the goal scorer might have been offside, but apparently it isn't. Poor defending from us. Nissan gets a really good header. That is really shocking defending. Schubert should do better there. I think we're going to get the offside link here. Yeah, he's just onside. But 1-0 to Winterthur, really disappointing. First shot on target as well. FM loves one shot on target wins. Well, I think some changes are afoot. We are not doing very well here. And I think it's going to be... Spinrath hasn't done anything for me to make him go like, yeah, we need to play him. I'm tempted to take off Tightman, you know, for Claudio. And if there's one more change I'm going to make... Oidendink being anxious is not encouraging for me, so I'm going to bring Robin Dan on. I just feel like we need 3 changes. I think we need to spice things up a little bit and just see how we do. Yeah, a lot of the players were in the team based off the last result against Lugano, so let's see how they get on. I think they're going to get a berate in the moment because they're playing absolutely terrible. I think we're going to get one more couple of changes here. We have got a free kick though. Maximiano. He usually tends to do alright from them. Not the case there. We're going to make some more changes. Quattro, I think. And I think I'm going to bring on Akurek. So Sadiqi's come on, and also Akurek. Just to try and change things around. I think we're going to go a bit attacking. Run at the defence, work the ball into the box. This is a really frustrating performance from us, I must say. Siddiqui, nice ball into Dan, but it doesn't really get anywhere. Lampert, Siddiqui. Johnson, playing in an unusual role for him. We don't usually play him at centre-back, but we need him in that position at the moment. And Maximiano is offside, but that would have been a debut goal for Robin Dan. Oh, what's Maximiano doing there, man? Oof. Winterthur should have probably been 2-0 up there. Sherbert's not having a good game. Lampert's defence just hasn't really done it today. I'll try and encourage, see if that works. Doesn't seem to have made much of a difference. And Winterthur have got a free kick. Burkhardt, I've got a bad feeling about this. Oh, it's deflected. Wasn't very confident, but Lampert, and the highlight goes away. Very attacking it is. Boys, we deserve a draw. Siddiqui, Kaminski. Siddiqui's come on, done a decent job, to be fair. So we'll consider him for the next game. Maximiano's been causing them problems as well down that right-hand side. Oh, that's a really frustrating defeat. Very annoying. Sorry, guys and gals. We don't go top of the league. That's really frustrating that. We should have won that game. I'm going to give them a right talking to there. But yeah, that puts us in 4th position. Young Boys have overtook us with a game in hand. Also, Basel and Young Boys have got a game in hand. So, yeah, it's back to the drawing boards for us. I'll just discuss what's going to happen with regards to the save going forward this season. Yeah, we are not particularly happy. Yeah. First defeat in 7. Lovely stuff. So, you would probably suggest that I would go through and pick another game, but what I'm really thinking of just rushing through is getting to this Basel game. If you guys and gals are okay with it, and get into hopefully the championship group stage or the relegation group stage, because you've seen all or majority of these teams we played against in the 10 seasons, in the 42 episodes that we've done so far. So I don't see the need to play any more games in the season, necessarily waste time with the Super League when we could easily get through the season and then get into the next stage where we will obviously, I'm not saying this year we didn't take Europe seriously in terms of the qualifiers, but we will obviously put our best team out going forward into the next European schedule, so as long as we win the Liechtenstein Cup, obviously. But I think it's fair to just maybe just race through it, get to the last game of the championship group stage, and just give you a longer episode for the next one, which might take a little bit of time. It might mean a little bit of a wait for the next episode, but I'm happy to do that. And yeah, that's how I think I'm going to go with for the next episode. But unfortunately, we have lost to Winterthur today. Really poor result for us. Bad bit of form going into September, I can't lie. And we'll see how we get on in, I believe it's May, for the Super League relegation or the Championship group. But I think that's the right course of action to go through. Just race through the season, and we'll get to season 11 when we can. I think with regards to FM as well on this channel anyway, Vaduz is the way forward up until March, and then I'll sort of reevaluate my options. To be honest, if FM is going to have the feature where you move the save over to another season, I really don't see why not would change the save to something else when we could continue and potentially win something if it does. There is the chance that we could win the Conference League. You never know, that might happen. There's still plenty of time left in the FM24 cycle. But yeah, I feel like that's what it's going to be going forward. So obviously doing the Liechtenstein challenge, and then on top of that, just having some highlights from maybe some Twitch saves that I'm doing next year. But I don't see the need to change the save. Probably when it gets to FM25, that's when I'll think of maybe a new YouTube save. If you have any suggestions for potentially a new YouTube save or a Twitch save, do let me know. Like I say, with regards to Twitch, I usually stream on a Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday around about 9 p.m. GMT time. The link to that channel is in the description below. So come along, say hello, and I will bid you a farewell. Take it easy, stay safe. Bye, everybody.